Dave, good job. We'll mention Dave. Nick Trubachik was an athlete at Portland State from 07 to 10 in track and field. He has the distinction of being the first ever first-team NCAA Division I All-American. And when you I'll just go off script for a minute. When you think about Portland State track and the facilities or the lack thereof, to accomplish that feat is just mind-boggling to me. He was the first male track and field athlete to qualify for the NCAA Division I Outdoor National Championship. He finished 7th in the whole country in 2010. He went on to qualify for the U.S. Championships decathlon in 2010, and he finished 8th. In the heptathlon, he had 5,432 points. Decathlon, 7,510. He was named the Big Sky Athlete of the Meet in the 2010 outdoor meet. He was a 4-time Big Sky Conference champion in both events. He is Portland State's career leader in points scored in the Big Sky indoor and outdoor meets. We have an athlete at Portland State right now. I just got this message. Deontay Robinson became the first Viking to earn all Big Sky honors in the event with a second-place finish earlier today. So obviously, Nick, you have been an inspiration to him and the track athletes that continue at Portland State. So, Nick, it's my privilege and my honor to induct you into the Portland State Athletic Hall of Fame with the class of 2016. Let's bring Nick up with a big round of applause.
Oh my, there's so many papers up here. Well, I'm not gonna lie, when I was sitting over there, I was a little nervous. And then Dan said, early 30s. Now, I'm only 28, so I'm young enough to make some mistakes, so you might see some tonight. Let me shake it out. All right, I'll start off by saying good evening. I hope everybody's enjoying their dinner and ready for a short but sweet speech. I want to start off first by thanking my mom, my father, my brother Paul, and my sisters Stacy and Katie. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have been able to accomplish the things that I did, and they're the reason why I'm here today. So you're going to see me, you'll see me looking down a lot. I didn't memorize my speech, and nor am I a good public speaker, but I'll give it my best shot. I also want to thank everyone in the audience tonight. Through your dedication to PSU athletics, you have made it possible for me and others up here to have this honor. And through some of them can't be here tonight, I want to also thank Portland State coaching staff. As I've seen for many years in my program, the education for our athletes at Portland State, it doesn't stop at the classroom. And I felt this reign true throughout all of PSU athletics. For football, wrestling, soccer, you name it, everybody there was getting something on and off the field, or track, or even the courts. I want to make a special thanks to my events coach, Seth Henson. He can't be here tonight because he's coaching for the Texas Longhorns over at the Big 12 Indoor Conference Championships in Iowa. Go Horns. Go Longhorns. So Seth, oh, I know. Go PSU as well. Trust me. Right here. PSU colors always with me. So, here we go. So Seth was an outstanding coach, a really close personal friend that I still have today, and he's taught me so many things just about life in general as well as sports. So even today while I'm standing up here, I can hear his words echo in my mind. We'd be at track meets, mid-event, he'd call me over, and he'd say, great job, but next time you go over there, jump a little bit higher. Maybe even throw a little bit further or run faster. So you see this trend here. So we shared a level of trust and confidence with each other, so that's what helped me a lot through my competition here at PSU. It is such an honor to be surrounded by such an elite group of athletes. I was fortunate enough to train with Deshaun Shedd, who can't be here tonight, but we shared a lot of good times and funny moments throughout all of our travels. I'm proud to say that many of you in this room I have trained with, shed blood with, tears, sweat. And I've trained with you, competed with you, and every one of you have pushed me to these limits. And then I have been able to skyrocket my ability as a track athlete. Now, the other day, when I was sitting in the office over at Multnomah Athletic Club, where I currently work, I was asked what it takes to be a champion. Now, it takes getting up before your competitors, having the mindset of when you step onto that track, the court, the football field, anywhere you're at, that is where your focus lies. So everything outside of that, your life, everything just ceases to exist, and that's where you want to be. That's the mindset that you need. A champion lives and breathes their sport. So here with us today, I also invited one of my buddies here, Vince Kinney, one of my best friends and training partners. He shared a moment that resonated with him, and he told my partner and I this just a couple days ago. And I wanted to share it with everybody because it was amazing. So I'm going to just read it word for word here. So besides being such a great training partner, Nick had always been dedicated to the sport, not only on the track, but off the track as well. We would travel across country together, and I remember one thing that Nick loved was to pick up grass. Don't worry, we'll get to that. The taller the grass, the better for me. So he says that he had such dedication to the sport that he would take blades of grass and hold them and throw them just like a javelin. Even though you may think this is kind of a weird thing for someone to do, it wasn't. Nick did things with a purpose, especially when it came to training, even when it involved blades of grass. Thank you, Vince. It's really strange for me. Normally when I'm in front of a group of people, I'm telling them to work out harder or something in that realm. So here we go. I was first introduced to track and field about 20 years ago. And I always invested time trying every event, except for long distance. I'll leave that to my partner. She's an ultramarathon runner, so I don't need to dive into that. But I always had a deep-rooted desire to learn everything. There was no event that I wanted to leave unturned. I just always wanted to beat everybody that was on that field, that stepped up to the line with me, that stepped into the ring with me. Just wanted to be the best. I remember even when I had my first multi. I was maybe 9, 10 years old, and we drove what seemed like for me at that age 1,000 miles. It felt like it took forever. But we got there, and it was Father's Day, and I remembered that I just wanted to kick everybody's butt and get my parents that medal, and as well present my dad that with a present so it would make it special. So if my parents, the one true people that I really dedicate everything to for my athletic accomplishments, if my parents hadn't taken the time to drive me to all the track meets across Northwest, I wouldn't have been able to develop the passion that I have even to this day for track and field. I don't know if many of you have ever watched a decathlon. It's 2 days long, and each of them is 6, maybe 10 hours per day, depending on what side of the country you're on. So if it's hot, they'll drag them out. But as a decathlete, we don't do it for the big crowds, the fame, but what we do it for is trying to better ourselves every single time we step out there, competing with ourselves, competing with each other, pushing each other so that we can excel to those higher limits. But even with the lack of large numbers in the stadiums, during those toughest moments that I faced on the track, even in life, I could always look up and see both my parents right there. Thank you. And the amazing thing is wherever we competed, Northern Arizona, Louisiana, Colorado, anywhere I could go, my parents always drove. They'd rent a car if they had to, but they drove through the mountains, drove through the snow, and they were at those meets. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad. So my track and field career took me all over the country and introduced me to many friends that I still have to this day, and has provided me with very enriching opportunities. Today, as a fitness professional, I continue to rise to the challenge. I'm still up at 5 a.m. putting in the hours. Thank you, Nancy. But everyone I work with strives to be their best selves, and I get to impart the same wisdom and lessons to the athletes and everybody that I teach today as the coaches have imparted on me when I was going through this program. So I would like everybody to raise a glass to good times, and thank you all for coming this evening. Have a great night.